Hello and welcome to another episode of Bare Bones Wargaming, a show with no bells, no whistles, no frills, just a man, a camera, and his game. On this episode, we are going to finish off, well, not completely finish off, but I'm going to go ahead and finish off some of the Battle of Crete from World at War magazine, which I started last episode, and I'm going to give you some thoughts on the game. That should be pretty brief, though, because quite frankly, if excuse me, if you really want to know in detail my thoughts on the game, I have posted a review on BoardGameGeek.com, so you can take a look at it there. Alright, now, since the British have been thoroughly reading my mail, yeesh, worst start ever, you know? Kind of reminds me of that Bugs Bunny cartoon when that guy goes in, that psychiatrist goes in and says, Elmer Fudd, he's billionaire and philanthropist, thinks he's a rabbit, and of course it's actually Bugs Bunny, and he's like, oh, worst case I have ever seen. So, kind of the way I feel about this right now. So let's see what the command is going to do. Unfortunately, I was not able to reduce the British command below the level where they get 3 rolls on the command table. So let's see what we get this time. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, here we go. So the first one is an 8. Reserves released. Okay, now reserves released is pretty straightforward. What you end up doing is you end up rolling a single die. Oh, jeez. My bad luck continues. And that's how many units are going to come into the game for the British. 6. 6. Count them. 6. Now, how do we know where they go? Well, let me show you. We consult, and again, it's a magazine game, so you know there's charts galore. We consult this chart right here, okay? And basically we put the British in whatever space they roll, unless it is German controlled. So if it is German areas contested, you can still put units there within stacking limits, okay? And of course, right now for the Germans, the only 2 places they control is Malimi Town and the Retimo Airfield, after a very bloody, god-awful, just, Alright. Alright, so let's see where they're going to go here. So 6 units. So I'm going to pick 6 units from the reserve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So far, the only thing that's really gone right for me in this game is I managed to capture King George. That's it. Alright, let's see where the first unit's going. First unit is 11. This one goes to 11. Oh! What do you know? Malimi Town. Well, it is occupied by the Germans, so Ixnay on the reinforce. Next one is a 7. Those guys are going to go to Suda, but Suda is maxed out. Okay, so those guys won't show up there either. Now, of course, if you want to make the game more difficult, you can roll again on the table if you wish. 8. Let's see. 8 is Retimo Airfield. Whew. Looks like some luck is coming to me here because Retimo Airfield is German controlled, so that unit doesn't show up. So far, no one has showed up. Wow. 4. Kania. And Kania, I think, is maxed out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, it is. So that unit doesn't show up. Wow. I'm just, whew. After all that bad luck on the last video, I'm just rolling in 4-leaf flavors right now. 4. Again, Kania, which is already maxed out in terms of stacking. So, of these 6 units, will even 1 show up? Guess the orders didn't go through, huh? 8. And 8 is Retimo Airfield again. Wow. So, as bad as I was getting beat around last time, whew, that was lucky. Alright, 10, Allied Offensive in Lasithi. Okay, so, again, when you have that, whatever units are adjacent to ports or airfields in that particular sector, go to there. So they're going to reinforce this port here. Again, they do move even if there are no German units there. Obviously anticipating an invasion. Alright, Middle East situation. So, we're going to be rolling some dice here. Oh boy. Alright, so roll a die. 1 through 3. First roll. Nope, it's a 4 through 6. 4 through 6 is unfortunate. Increase allied command level by 1. Well, it was going to go back up to 12 no matter what. So I'd rather have my 1 through 3 right now to reduce the Royal Navy. Oh, but I'm not going to get it. It's a 5. I should have kept my big bazoo shut. So a 5 increases the Royal Navy by 1. So they're back up to full strength. Goodness gracious. Tell you what though, this whole multiples of 3, reducing the level, that really is a game changer in terms of this, pulling this off now. It really is, it's going to make this tough. There's no question about that. Alright, excuse me. Now, we do have an Allied counterattack. Basically, the Allies will always counterattack in a space where there are German units. Now, I've seen some people complain about this and be like, well, that doesn't make sense. You know, they're weak, especially if they're weaker. But it does make sense when you think about it from a doctrine standpoint. I mean, think about it. I don't know about you, but most books I've read on amphibious assaults are like assaults across a river, which I guess you could maybe call that, but I would rather call those river crossings, or airborne drops. What's the cardinal rule? You attack as quick as you can so the enemy cannot establish themselves. So to me, this totally makes sense to attack no matter what the odds are, because if you let them get a foothold, like I've got Retimo right now, I won't have to worry about dropping people next time. I'll just be able to start sending in units by air landing. Okay, so something to consider. All right, so here we go here. Now, the one thing to keep in mind here, this is critical with the battles, is the defender and attacker switch. So like for example, if this was actually going to be in Malimi town here, which of course it isn't, the attacker's value is reduced by 1. So even though the allies are quote-unquote overall the defender, if this was in Malimi town, they would have to reduce both of their attack values by 1. Okay, now at airfield it doesn't matter, but it does become critical there. So let's see who gets the tactical advantage. Okay, all right, so it's not, well, it is a German airborne drop. It's only on the turn that it happens. After that, of course, it wouldn't count. So +1, +2, and +3 for the opponents, or for the allies. Opponents, of course, because I'm playing the German side. And nothing for the Germans. Well, and the allies get the first shot. Okay, but again, support units get to shoot first. So I will get to unleash this artillery unit first, and of course I'll go after the stronger German unit. Excuse me. And it's a 1, so totally awesome. Managed to destroy that unit, and now I've got to wait to see what happens with the outcome of the other battle. So I did get 1 more victory points. Hey, hey, hey! I crossed the 10 mark. Finally. Yeesh. Alright. Now that we're switching to the non-support units, the allies will get to shoot first with their 2. And they rolled a 1. So that will knock... Oh, that'll destroy that. I just lost... Me, my big mouth. I just lost 3 victory points. Okay, because whenever an airborne unit is destroyed, you end up... or eliminated, you end up losing 3 more points. Whew! This has been a brutal, brutal game. So that airfield is still contested. Wow. Okay. Alright. Allied command adjustment, well, they control everything except the 1 airfield, so it will go up by 9, so it easily would go to 12. No sweat there. Okay. Don't have to worry about evacuation, because they're definitely not on their last legs. And on to turn 3. Now, turn 3 here, I gotta be honest with you, I'm seriously considering risking an amphibious assault, because, wow, my airborne troops are just getting slammed in the worst sort of way. Alright. So first of all, let's see how many staff points I get this turn. Only 2. Now I can declare maximum effort at some point. Intelligence phase, no. Refit phase. This is a hard decision because I really need some of these units here, some of these points. I'm trying to think if I'm really going to be airdropping anybody this turn. I don't have to, because even with Malimi contested over here, I can go ahead, let's zoom back out on Malimi, I can still go ahead and bring in air landing units. I don't have to drop anybody right now. Excuse me. Alright, so, well, I'm going to save, I'm not going to worry about those points then. I am going to spend both points to flip some of my air support units. So now I'm down to 0 again. But without my air support, I'm in trouble. Okay, Axis staging phase here. So now I've got to commit my forces to different things here. Alright, now the problem is my Ritimo guys have just been hammered. Absolutely hammered. They're all reduced. Malimi's not much better shape. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to commit a lot of my air power. I'm going to actually put most of my air power on the Allied Command Center this time. But if I do that and I don't reduce the Royal Navy, I'll need a 10 through 12 to get through. That's a huge risk. Alright, let's go for broke against the Royal Navy. I'm going to commit most of my aircraft to there, save 2. 2 of them I'm going to use on the map here to try and help out. I'm going to put 1 here in the Herculean sector, and then I'm going to give air support at Suda, because that is where, in the Kenia sector, because that's where I'm going to try and get some other units there. I'll send some air fighter coverage to go with them. And then I'm kind of curious to see what's in Satia, so I'm going to put a plane down there. And also Safkia, I'm going to send an aircraft down to there to scope that out and find out what's going on. Okay, alright, Axis Tactical Movement Phase. Now this is where I can move my paratroopers and my guys on the board. I don't have too many guys on the board, but I do want to secure this airfield completely, so I am going to move this German unit from Malimi Town over to the Malimi Airfield and try to handle that situation. There. Oh, sorry, my staging, I forgot to move my my units I was doing the air landing on. You know how it is. Sometimes you just get ahead of yourself. So, I'm going to go ahead and bring in the air landing unit into Malimi. So I got 3 units for that. And then I'm going to start to bring in elements of the, I always forget if it's the 5th or 6th mountain here. I'm going to bring those guys in to start supporting here at Ritimo, because I may have to, the way things are going here and the way that the situation is, I may have to airland people at Ritimo and start moving them eastward and attack Herculean that way. I may risk an airborne drop way out here on the end of the island, but I'm not 100% sure of that yet. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, so I did my tactical movement. Here comes my strategic air attack, so keep your fingers crossed this time. We'll see if I can actually make this work. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 units at 3 or less. 2, 4, 6. Here we go. Alright. Well, 1 die abandoned me. He took off, but I've got 3 dice that scored hits. Correction, 4 dice that scored hits. And now I've got my 1, 2, 3 guys that are 4 or less. And they scored 3 hits. Awesome. Okay, that's a boatload of stuff there. Alright, so 2, 4, 6, 7 hits. Now, I'll have to drop that 1 multiple, but that will knock the Royal Navy down by 2 levels, down to 7. So now it's basically the 50-50 proposition. But now I've got 7 dice to roll. 2, 4, 6, to see how many victory points I can get slamming the Royal Navy. Alright, let's see how we did. Alright, I got a single 2. So a 2 will get me 1 point for a destroyer sunk. Well, that's not bad. I've got 3 threes. 3 threes, that's also 3 more points, so 8 threes are 11. Alright, so I'm starting to climb back up, claw my way into this. I've got a pair of 4s. And that's another 2 victory points. So that takes me up to 13. And I rolled a 5, which is a cruiser sunk. That's 2 more. So actually that worked out pretty well. And I had no 6s this time, so no air units damaged. Woohoo! Alright. Of course, then again on the other side, if I had attacked the Allied command, that would have dropped them all the way down to 5. Well, you know, hey, I'm trying to get the airborne or the amphibious assault launched, partly to show you guys. All right, Axis tactical air movement phase. So these guys are going to come down here and poke around, see if they can find out what's happening. These guys are going to come down here and try to soften up Herculean airfield. And then these guys are going to go in and try to soften up Suda here, where I'm going to try and land the 5th Panzer here in a little bit. Okay. And I'll probably have to stop. I'm going to be honest with you. I'll have to stop and probably consult the rule books on the amphibious assault if it fails, because I can't think the last time I had an amphibious assault fail. Let's put it that way. Okay? All right. Speaking of amphibious movement phase, all right. Let's see here now. Oops. Was I supposed to stage them? Yeah, I was. Oops. All right. I think I just kind of automatically do it anymore because I don't see anything in the rules that really makes a difference if you don't just directly move it there. So I can move 6 units. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try and bring in the elements of the 5th Panzer and get them landed over here at Suda. So I also will now mark the turn with the amphibious assault, because now I won't be able to do another one until turn 5. Remember, every other turn is the most that you can do. Okay, Allied reveal phase. Well, let's start down here. Ooh, there's an anti-aircraft gun. That could get dicey. There's quite a few strong units. No headquarters units, though. I don't know if that's going to be worth it. Nothing to reveal here. Nothing to reveal there. So that's it. No, nothing else to reveal. Just that one. Okay, anti-aircraft fire. They'll shoot at this fighter plane down here. And of course they hit it. So that's the end of that. So air unit that is eliminated cost me 2 victory points. Now I'm back down to 13. Admiral Halsey would freak out if he was here. He was definitely trichodescaphobic, I believe is the proper pronunciation of that. Okay, anti-aircraft fire at Herculean airfield, missed. And then we got one over here too. And it missed as well at Suda. Okay, so that's that. Alright, Axis tactical now. Alright, so obviously the Stuka at Herculean is going to destroy, or try to destroy, actually did destroy the anti-aircraft unit. Awesome, so that gives me 1 point back. And then I'll try to drive off the strong 4 unit with my fighter, and it did not work. Alright, so back to there, and back to there. Alright, now my other attacks here, I'm going to probably go after the strongest unit here with my Stuka. Let's see, there's a 3. I'll go after the 4. There's a 4 at the bottom of the stack. Not so much worried about the anti-aircraft guns because it's not going to be an airborne drop. Okay, so the Stuka will go after the 4-stage unit. I missed him. Alright, I'll have my 2 fighters attack, and they'll go after the 4 and the 3. And we did manage to drive the 4 off. So, but again, the bad news is when you retreat the enemy, you don't get any victory points for it. Okay. Incidentally, if you destroy any Greek partisan units, there are a few counters of those in the game, you don't get any points for that either, just FYI. Okay, so, situation is still dicey for the Wehrmacht. Alright, okay, German airdrop and landing. Well, the good news is, don't really have anything to worry about here. Gonna drop these guys. I put them in Hercules. I don't know why I did it. You know what, last game I think I was so focused on that is what happened. And we'll land those guys over there to reinforce and hopefully crush the enemy at Retimo Airfield. So they have been landed. Alright, now, Axis ground combat time. Well, right now, there is only... Whoops. Didn't I do... No, you know what? I'm so sorry. I forgot to do the die roll on the interception by the Royal Navy. My apologies. I thought I rolled the dice. Did I roll the dice? I hope I'm not rolling it twice. I guess we'll find out later, huh? I don't think I did. I think I did forget to actually roll the dice. Okay, here we go. So it is a 7. Let's see. And I'm pretty sure I get caught, because I think it's equal to or less than. Let's see. Yep, equal to or less than, then an interception has occurred. Bollocks! Alright, let's see. So, place all units amphibious back to their staging area. Roll 1 die for each German unit. And a 1 is eliminate. A 2 is reduce. So let's see what happened here. Alright. So we got interception. Okay, well at least my strongest unit in the 5th pencil is okay. They did not get smashed. 1 unit got reduced, so that's going to cost me a victory point. My elite engineer unit there. These guys were completely eliminated. So Axis ground unit that's completely eliminated. That's another 2 victory points I just lost. Used up all my good luck on those reinforcements, didn't I? Looks that way. Those guys got back safe and sound. Whoops. Let's see the guys underneath them also. And then the last ones in the stack also got back safe and sound. Dang it, but now I can't launch another amphibious assault until turn 5, which is practically the end of the game. Alright, so now we'll do Axis ground combat at this point. Well, the only thing to do is over here at the Malimi airfield. Alright, so let's see the tactical here. Don't have to worry about that. Well, actually, yeah, airborne landing, so +1 for them, +2. +3. They're going to get shoot first. Actually, it's a tie when I actually roll the dice. Interesting. So let's see. Airfield, who wins the ties? The attacker actually does. Wow. Alright, so I will shoot with my wound support unit up there. They did the job. They whacked the Greek unit that was holding on. So halla bloody Luya, we secured an airfield. But we're still a long way from victory at this point. Okay. And now we're back around to the Middle East Command phase at this point, which basically takes us full circle here on this turn. So I'll tell you what, since there's really not much an Allied counterattack to do, let me go ahead and do that. And I'll share with you what happened here and see how much deeper into the doo-doo. To use a word that my parents always used when I was growing up, the caca, I'm in. Alright, 3 rolls again, because, yeah. Whew, this is bad. I am going to have to rethink some of my strategy on this. But again, I don't think honestly, I probably would not have tried to land those guys amphibiously just yet, but I wanted to show you how that worked and stuff, so. Alright, so a 9. A 9 Allied offensive at Heracleion. Well, the good news is that's already basically been done. By the way, if you roll 2 results the same, like 2 Allied reserves released, you don't get to do 2. You only do 1. You can't do the same action twice in the same turn. Speaking of reserves released, here we go again. More Allied troops are being deployed. This time 4 of them. 1, 2, 3. Oh, excuse me, and 4. Alright, let's find out where they're going. First one's 12. So they are going to Satia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they can't. That is not maxed out yet. Next, 8. Alright, that's for Timo Airfield, which is under the control of the Germans. And we have a 7 now. 7 is Suda, but that's maxed out. And then last but not least, 4, which is Kania, which is also maxed out. So having those Allied counterattacks also do cause some problems. Or Allied offensives, I should say. Trying to release Allied reserves. You know, it's basically almost like they changed their mind. Okay. And the 7, Allied offensive at Kania. Okay. But there's nobody, yeah, we already had that earlier in the game, so there's no effect there. Alright. Allied counterattack phase. Well, there's no counterattack right now because there's no Allied units in the same space as Germans. Command adjustment, not necessary. And we don't have to worry about evac. So now we're back on to turn 4 with the staff points in this mess of a situation. So I'll move that up. Okay, just a few quick thoughts here about the game. I do like this game. I like this system, partly because I like the system because this is one of those games where after the initial shock, if you will, you know, wondering what's there, wondering what's, you know, what's in this space, what's in that space, then the game kind of becomes pretty straightforward, you know, as you're trying to capture the airfields and try to capture the ports. I mean, there's still some uncertainty. I like the Allied command table. I think it works very well, actually. Definitely the Royal Navy rules, you know, that definitely makes that a tougher nut to crack. On the other hand, it does give you the chance to earn more victory points because, you know, you're going to be sinking these ships and basically battling with the Royal Navy, you know, Luftwaffe versus the Royal Navy in the Eastern Mediterranean Sea here. So, but yeah, I'm going to have to rethink things here now because, again, I haven't played this game for almost a year, and I just happened to double check on one errata that I wasn't sure of, which was the ground units. If they rolled a 6, if they got damaged, and that had been changed. And that's when I stumbled across this Royal Navy thing, and I was like, whoa, Raggy? You know, I was just kind of stunned. So, okay. So anyway, this is a game, if you are interested in Operation Mercury, I highly recommend this game. This is one of the games that's a 10. And if you do get this game, and if you do like the system, there is another game using a similar system for a similar situation. Similar by terms of it's hard to game. And again, that initial, you know, what's where and, you know, guessing and trying to figure out where to go kind of thing. That was in Modern War, I want to say somewhere between like 28 and 30, but it was Objective Havana, which basically was executing Op Plan 316, I believe is the proper name of it. I could be wrong, though. It's been a while since I've studied the Cold War. But basically, it was the Allied plan to invade Cuba and defeat Castro. And, of course, you know, take out the missile sites and all that stuff. So there is a system on that. And if you're interested in that ahead of time, you can also look at the game page on Board Game Geek, because I wrote a review for that, too, because I enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun as well. Okay, so, highly recommend this Crete game. Again, more details on Board Game Geek on my written review if you care to take a look at that. Now, next stop probably will be the Eastern Front again. There's a shocker. According to the U.S. Postal Service, my copy of Russia Besieged Deluxe, which was just released by Compass Games, is scheduled for delivery tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to getting that set up, kind of going over things. I understand that, and I really haven't dabbled with it much before, but I understand it's basically like, excuse me, basically like the Russian campaign on steroids, you know. So we'll see. I don't know that for sure, but I'm definitely intrigued. I've been reading the rulebook over, and actually it does kind of seem like that. One thing I have been impressed, I will just say about reading over the rulebook, is the examples. There's a lot of nice examples there, so that's very cool. So, the next time you see me, it'll be that. Not sure how long that'll take, because I'll probably dabble with a few scenarios. But again, what I'll show you will be from the early part of the war. It's, you know, it's just my personal preference. The Eastern Front after, you know, 1943, after the whole Case Blue, just doesn't interest me a whole lot. Although I'll be curious to see, with Russia Besieged, what kind of Kursk scenario they have. And then, of course, what kind of situation you can launch, and whether you can launch it earlier. That's always, of course, been an intriguing thought to me. And I have No Retreat, the Russian Front, which I enjoy a lot, too, as a very cool, I don't want to say simple, that's not fair, but a very cool and straightforward kind of East Front game. And kudos to Carl, his last name is escaping me right now, the designer. Because I emailed him and I was like, hey, if I wanted to launch Kursk a couple turns earlier, what adjustments would I need to make, you know, to the scenario setup? And, you know, he sent me a response right away. And I'm really looking forward to his Absolute War game, which is supposed to come out from GMT next year sometime. So, yeah. So to put a period on that. So East Front is one of my big things. So I'll be coming to you from there again. I know, I just did some videos on Storming the East, but I just can't resist. It has ever since I was a youngster and started studying World War II. Seriously, probably like around the age of 12, the East Front has just been like a siren call to me. I'm not sure why. I've always been fascinated by it. So, I hope you enjoyed this playthrough. Hopefully it'll give you an idea whether you want to get this game or not, because I understand that Decision Games kind of pumped up the price a little bit on this when they reprinted it, because apparently this has been one of the most popular games they've had, magazine-wise, in the last few years. So, this is Tim Korchnoi from Bare Bones Wargaming, saying thank you for watching, and I'll let you know in the notes at some point on this game whether I was able to salvage anything or not. But right now, this is looking like UGLY. Ain't got no alibi. This is going to be ugly. So, we'll see what happens. Can't believe I lost those 5th Panzer. I'm going to have to answer for that. Oh well. Perhaps with my head, right? Okay. So, alright, thanks for watching. See you next time from the Eastern Front, Mother Russia, and Russia besieged.